Star Wars Clone Wars returned this week to the Disney Plus app with a brand new episode entitled Dangerous Debt. I'm Cabe Joel, and this is the video series where I give my thoughts and feelings on the episode that was and shout out any bigger themes and ideas that I might come across. So, as we join the episode, Ahsoka and her new friends, Trace and Rafa, are prisoners of the Pykes following their botched spice deal. Man, first drug dealing, now prison time. Ahsoka's post-Jedi career is off to a rough start, I tell ya. If this prison looks familiar, it's because we've actually seen it once before in the episode The Lost One, so hey, points for continuity and bringing stuff back. Now, it doesn't take long before Ahsoka and Rafa are at each other's throats once again with poor Trace stuck in the middle. When the subject of the Jedi is brought up though, however, things do manage to take an unexpected turn. You see, Rafa tells the story of how her and her sister became orphans, fending for themselves in a cruel and uncaring galaxy. It would seem their parents were killed and their childhood home destroyed due in part to Jedi negligence. In fact, they even tie it back into the events of an older episode by saying that when Zero the escaped prison on Coruscant with the help of a red-eyed alien, almost certainly Cad Bane, a green-skinned Jedi woman, almost certainly Master Luminara, gave chase only for the bad guys to cause a massive crash, which the Jedi in turn failed to stop. If only because catching the bad guys was that much more important. What's worse though is that they didn't do it. Naturally, Zero and Cad escaped, and when the time came to console the children who were now orphans, the Jedi could really only offer some really empty condolences. I know the Force will look after you. Good luck with that. Bye. This is a really harsh story, and I kinda love it that this tragic moment was born from clearly one of Clone Wars' trademark over-the-top action sequences that we never got to see. You know, the ones that Ahsoka was involved in all the damn time. She doesn't say it either, but as a viewer, I could not help but wonder to myself if she was asking the question, did any of my action-packed escapades end up hurting anyone that I didn't know about? Dangerous Debt kept down that dark path too, as we actually get to see Rafa get tortured by the Pykes who want their spice back. In fact, it's the same kind of shock torture that Han got in the original trilogy. It's honestly a little graphic in parts, and you might say this is cheating, but it was at this point here I actually started to feel a little sympathetic for Rafa. Yeah, she's been a jerk all arc long, but still, she's a person and no one deserves this. She also showed off her street smarts too by never once even implying that they had dumped the spice, because if the Pykes ever found out they didn't have their product, they'd have no problem killing them. Once again, Ahsoka desperately wants to help, but her hands are tied by not wanting to out herself as a former Jedi by using the Force. I kept waiting for that moment where things got so bad she would have no choice to reveal herself, but in another unexpected twist, Trace actually proves super capable of saving herself by faking a fainting spell. And not a moment too soon either, because it was really getting to the point where everyone else had to drop everything to save Trace. It's about time she started pulling her own weight. Of course, even after our heroes escape the prison, they're still trapped behind enemy lines on the Pyke homeworld, and they still gotta find their ship after all. What follows is the three being forced to work together and stealth their way along. I gotta admit, once again, Rafa gets knocked around something fierce, and at least one mook is implied to have had his head guillotined off by a machine. So, you know, if you were one of those people worried that this new Disney era of Star Wars may have softened the Clone Wars a little bit, well, here you go. It's while escaping, Ahsoka and Rafa do manage to have themselves a real genuine heart-to-heart, and we get the feeling that despite so much of her behavior, she's really not a bad person. She does want what's best for her sister, even if she has a very, very hard time showing it. She is, after all, the result of her environment. It's also here in the latter part of the episode an unexpected third party makes the scene. The frickin' Mandalorians, no doubt to try and help plant the seeds for the finale of the Clone Wars, the Siege of Mandalore. We don't exactly know why Bo-Katan and Sabine's mom are right here right now on the Pyke's homeworld, but in a nice bit of continuity, Bo actually does remember meeting Ahsoka in a past episode. In the end, the sisters get themselves captured, which means Ahsoka has to come back and save them, which ultimately means they all get captured again, and the episode ends exactly where it started, with all of them in a cell. Ooh, bummer. And so that was Dangerous Debt, and while it certainly had its moments, particularly in the first act, I wouldn't call it my favorite episode of the season. It's nice for them to try and humanize Rafa as a person. While her plight is certainly tragic, it all just felt kinda boilerplate to me. I am enjoying the sword of Damocles they got hanging over poor Ahsoka's head right now. From a dramatic standpoint, these two sisters are the only friends she's met after leaving the Jedi Order, and losing them now would really hurt her if she was found out to be a former Jedi, but the only way she can keep her new friends alive is by using her Jedi training. Overall, a pretty good but not great episode. Let's see if the addition of the Mandalorians can't help spice things up for the final part of the arc.